stop. Before you book your next salon appointment, I need you to hear this first, because there is a haircut that women over 60 are walking out of salons with every single day. And it is quietly, invisibly aging their face in a way that no skincare product, no lipstick, and no pair of earrings can fix. It is not dramatic. You cannot point to it immediately and say, that's the problem. It just makes you look in the mirror one day and think, when did I start looking so tired? And the worst part? Most women never connect it to the haircut. They think it's age. They think it's their skin. They think it's just the way things are now. It's not. It's the shape on your head. And shape is something you can change in 45 minutes. Today I'm showing you 6 hairstyles that actually lift your face, restore structure, and make people wonder, quietly, if you've had something done. And near the end, I'm going to give you 3 questions you can bring to your very next salon appointment that will instantly tell you whether your stylist knows how to cut for your face right now, or whether they're just giving you the same default they give every woman over 60 who sits in their chair. We're going from the least dramatic to the most life-changing. So stay with me, because by the time we get to number 1, you'll already be picturing yourself in it. If you're new here, this channel is specifically for women who are tired of being handed the same tired advice and the same tired cut. We talk about what actually works for the hair you have right now, not the hair you had 20 years ago. Go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And drop a comment right now. I want to know, how long have you had your current haircut? Tell me below. I read every single one. Before we get into the 6 cuts, let's name the thing we're trying to avoid. You know it. You've probably had it. Or you're sitting with it right now. It's short. It's round. It sits close to the head. And it doesn't move. Doesn't shine. Doesn't do a single thing for your face. It just sits there being safe. I call it the granny cut. Not to shame anyone who has it, because I've talked to hundreds of women who ended up with it without ever choosing it. It crept in one, just give me something easy appointment at a time, until one day the mirror stopped feeling like them. Here's why it ages you, and this part matters. As your face naturally softens with age, a round haircut mirrors that softness. It echoes the roundness instead of cutting against it. There's no structure, no line, no contrast for the eye to land on. So the face reads as heavier than it is, more tired than it is, older than it is. And here's what almost nobody tells you. It is not a hair problem. It is a shape problem. The exact same hair, cut with the right structure, can look 10 years different. Not because of products, not because of procedures, because of where the lines fall and how light moves across your face. Once you understand that, everything changes. So let's get into the cuts. Number 6, the textured crop. This is for the woman who wants to go short, but doesn't want to look severe. Think of it as a pixie that grew up. More refinement, more softness, more movement. The back tapers neatly to show the neck and the jaw, while the top keeps enough length and texture to create real lift at the crown. If you've noticed your hair going flat up there, this cut works because short hair with internal texture can build the illusion of thickness that longer hair actually can't. Grey and silver hair particularly loves this cut. Natural grey often has more grip and texture than colour-treated hair, which means it holds the shape of a crop without heavy product. You've been told grey limits your options. This cut proves the opposite. For a rounder face, ask your stylist to keep more volume through the crown to add vertical height. For a longer or more angular face, a short crop with soft fringe pieces around the forehead brings everything into balance. Styling takes 2 minutes. A little cream between the fingers, raked forward and slightly to the side. That's it. No blow-dryer marathon. No round brush gymnastics. No fighting your own hair every morning. Number 5, soft waves. This one is for the woman who wants movement and a little romance without committing to something too editorial or high maintenance. Soft waves work best on a cut sitting around the collarbone or slightly below. The layers should be subtle, not choppy. When it's done right, this haircut looks effortless. But there's real structure holding it together underneath. It's especially useful if your hair has been thinning at the crown, because well-placed layers build lift and dimension without the hair ever looking sparse or overworked. A skilled stylist can position those layers specifically around the areas where you've lost density, using the cut itself as the styling tool. One tip most stylists never mention: waves should never start right at the root. If you're using a curling wand, start about 2 inches down from the scalp. That keeps the crown full and lifted while still giving you that soft, loose movement everywhere else. The difference between a fresh blowout and a look that tried too hard is usually just that 2-inch gap. Number 4, the modern lob. If you're not ready to go short, but your current length is doing absolutely nothing for your face, this is your bridge. The lob, long bob, typically sits between the chin and the collarbone. What makes it modern instead of dated is what happens underneath. You want a blunt perimeter at the bottom, with internal weight removed, not visible chunky layers scattered all over the top. That distinction matters more than almost anything else in this cut. The blunt perimeter makes the hair look fuller and healthier. Even if your hair has thinned, it catches the light differently along that clean edge, giving the hair a freshness that layers simply can't replicate. And because one side can be tucked behind the ear while the other sweeps forward, there's a natural asymmetry that makes the whole look dynamic and current without trying. Versatility is the other reason this cut earns its place on this list. Sleek and straight for a polished day. Tousled with texture spray for the weekend. Lightly waved for something in between. Very few cuts give you that range, while only requiring one clean shape underneath. If this is already making you rethink your next appointment, subscribe now, because every week on this channel, we break down exactly what works for women at this stage of life, and what's just been handed to you by default. This is the kind of content your stylist probably isn't walking you through. Number 3, the soft shag. This cut is having a genuine moment right now, and for good reason. It solves one of the most persistent problems in older haircuts, which is static shape. The granny cut is a round, uniform shape. The soft shag is all vertical and diagonal movement, and those diagonal lines do something crucial. They keep the eye moving. The eye travels across your face and hair rather than settling on one heavy outline. That movement reads as lift, as youth, as life. For face framing, a curtain bang or soft bottleneck fringe works beautifully with this cut. The fringe opens in the middle and sweeps gently toward the cheekbones, drawing attention directly to the eyes. Not a heavy bang, a veil, not a wall. There's a difference, and a skilled stylist knows exactly where it is. Ask for short to long layering, with the shorter pieces concentrated at the crown and gradually longer toward the perimeter. That structure builds lasting lift without teasing heavy spray or daily heat. And here's the thing to watch for in the salon. If your stylist cuts a shag in a straight, even line across the perimeter, that's a mistake. The ends should be point cut or razor feathered, softly carved, not chopped. A shag with the wrong technique behind it becomes the very round, static shape you were trying to avoid. Number 2, the modern Pixie bob. This one gets the most pushback, and the most dramatic before and afters in my comments, because women assume short hair means giving up softness and femininity. The modern Pixie bob proves that wrong. Sometimes called a Pixie, this cut gives you the clean lifted nape of a pixie, with enough length left in front to frame and soften the face. That balance, short in the back, longer in the front, is the entire architecture of why it works. The key is asymmetry. A long sweeping fringe angled across the forehead creates a diagonal line, and diagonal lines are always more dynamic and more slimming than round or perfectly straight ones. Grey hair particularly loves this cut. The natural texture in silver hair gives it built-in body and personality that color-treated hair sometimes has to manufacture. You don't fight your hair into submission here. You let the stylist shape it correctly, and let the texture do half the work. Styling is genuinely simple. A little styling cream on slightly damp hair, raked forward to the side, and the cut itself carries from there. Wash and go that still reads as intentional and expensive. That combination is rarer than it should be. Don't go anywhere yet, Because the number one cut on this list is the one that generates the most "I can't believe I waited this long" comments. And I'm saving it for exactly that reason. It's coming in about 2 minutes. And it's worth staying for. Number 1. The architectural bob. If I could give every woman over 60 just one haircut, this would be it, without hesitation. Here's why. The architectural bob creates a sharp horizontal line at the chin or just below. And that line does something almost surgical. It gives the entire lower face a visual boundary, a crisp edge that the eye reads as structure, definition, and lift. The face above that line looks firmer, more sculpted, more intentional. It's not magic, it's geometry. A blunt line at the jaw acts as a visual stop sign. And everything above it, your cheekbones, your eyes, your jawline, appears more defined because of it. The mistake most stylists make with this cut is adding visible layers on top in an attempt to add movement. That's exactly how you end up with a round, mushroom-shaped silhouette instead of the clean architectural line you came in for. What you actually want is a blunt perimeter with internal thinning underneath, invisible from the outside, that removes bulk without ever breaking that clean bottom edge. Ask for those exact words. Blunt perimeter, internal thinning. That tells a skilled stylist immediately what you're after. And if they look uncertain, that tells you something too. Styling is as simple as a flat iron or a blowout with a slight inward bend at the ends. Blunt ends reflect light far better than feathered ones. So the hair reads as healthier and glossier even on a low-effort day. This is the cut that earns comments like, "You look amazing. Did you do something different?" Because they can't quite name what changed. That's exactly the point. Now let's talk about what happens in the salon. Because a great cut in the wrong hands still becomes a bad one. Here are 3 questions to bring to your very next appointment. Save these. The first question: how will this cut work with my natural texture if I don't use a round brush every day? A stylist who truly understands your hair will give you a specific, confident answer. A vague one about just keeping it styled tells you everything you need to know. The second question: can you show me where you plan to create the lift and how you'll make sure the shape doesn't go round at the bottom? This instantly reveals whether your stylist actually thinks in terms of shape and structure or whether they're just trimming. The third question: how can we keep the ends looking blunt while the body feels light and airy, not heavy? That one question reveals whether your stylist knows how to hold fullness and movement in the same cut simultaneously. It's the hardest technical skill in every cut we covered today, and a true artist will answer it without hesitation. These 3 questions are not meant to be a test. They're meant to open a real conversation. The right stylist will welcome them. And if they don't, find a new one. We're not done. Because even the right cut can be quietly undermined by 3 things most women never think about. The first, thinning shears. Avoid them whenever possible. On aging hair, which is already more porous and prone to frizz, thinning shears create fuzzy, weakened ends rather than soft ones. Ask your stylist to use point cutting with straight shears instead. It adds texture without destroying the integrity of the shape underneath. The second, skipping heat protectant. Aging hair has a naturally compromised cuticle layer, which means heat damage shows up faster and rougher than it did at 35. A lightweight heat protectant spray takes 15 seconds and is the difference between glossy ends and brittle ones 6 months from now. The third, and the most common, going too long between trims. Even the most low-maintenance cut on this list needs a shape refresh every 6 to 8 weeks. The architectural shapes especially rely on precision, and precision doesn't hold indefinitely. Letting it grow past that window is exactly how a perfect cut slowly becomes the granny cut again. Here's what I want to leave you with. You've spent years taking care of everyone else, showing up for everyone else, putting yourself last on the list, including your own reflection. Your hair is not a monument to who you were in 1998. It should be a reflection of who you are right now, today. Not some compromise between easy and invisible. Not a signal that you stop trying. A deliberate choice that says, I'm still here. I'm still paying attention. And I still take up space. A great haircut changes more than your appearance. It changes how you stand in a room, how you smile in a photo, how you feel in that split second when you catch your own reflection in a shop window. And don't immediately look away. That moment is yours to have. And it can start with one honest conversation in a salon chair. If this video helped you see your hair differently, subscribe to this channel, because we do this every week. Real cuts, real information, no fluff. If you found this valuable, share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. She'll thank you. And leave me a comment right now. Which cut from today's list felt most like you? Or tell me the haircut you'd never let a stylist talk you into again. I'm reading every single comment. Next week, we're covering the 3 hair colors that quietly add 10 years. And the ones that take them right back off. You'll want to be here for that one.